All right. Welcome, everybody. I am here to introduce our next speaker. I am Ariana. I'm the Director of Operations for TaskHusky. I thank you all for tuning in to Lead the Pack. I hope you've enjoyed all of our speakers so far. This is our last one for today, so I hope that you really enjoy and that you've gotten a lot out of this experience. So I am going to introduce you to Sean Campbell. He is a project manager at Out of the Sandbox. And he is going to give you some top tips for using your theme's built-in features to maximize conversions. If you have any questions during the talk, please feel free to post them in the chat bubble or in the Q&A section. And then we will get to those as soon as possible. The Q&A section will all be answered most likely after the chat, but if you put them in the chat bubble, they will be answered throughout the discussion. So without further ado, I will let you take it over, and please enjoy.
Thanks a lot, Ariana, and thanks everybody for tuning in on a Friday afternoon, the last of the Lead the Pack presentations. Great to see you all. I am going to shut off my camera here in one sec, and hopefully you can still see my screen as we jump in. So as Ariana said, I'm Sean Campbell. I'm the project manager from Out of the Sandbox, and we are a Shopify theme developer. So thanks a ton for joining me for this quick presentation about using your theme's built-in features to maximize conversions and just generally lead to online store success, whether that be for you, your clients, your developers, your merchants, and ultimately your shoppers. So I'm not exactly sure who you are that's tuned in, but hopefully we've got some tips here that you'd be able to leverage. This week, we've already heard from our friends from Shopify agencies. We've heard from Shopify app developers. This whole show is being put on by our task expert friends at TaskHusky. And I'm here to speak from the perspective of a theme developer. So from this, we can kind of qualify our merchants, or more specifically, their requests, to land into one of these three-ish buckets. Whether they're looking for a full design and build, that like white glove service that you would get from a Shopify agency, or you're looking to have just specific functionality and appearance changes committed to your storefront. Perhaps it's an existing storefront and you'd have that done by a task expert or perhaps through an app installation. Or in my case, you're looking for the do-it-yourself approach through the configuration of theme settings to solve these problems and accomplish these requests. So today I'm going to be sharing my tips from a theme perspective. More specifically, it's going to be about the Turbo theme from Out of the Sandbox. It's our current flagship product, and it contains our best built-in solutions for the common requests that merchants have for creating a contemporary online storefront. And it seems these days that I can't have very many conversations that don't turn into a big Turbo sales pitch, so bear with me if Turbo isn't your theme. Or better yet, head on over to outofthesandbox.com and give the theme a whirl with our 14-day money-back guarantee. Here I've gone right into that sales pitch again. Sorry, I digress. Back to the tips here. Today, I'm going to share some tips that are going to apply for large inventory shops. I've got some tips for shops with a focused inventory. And finally, I have some tips that will apply across the board. No further ado, let's jump right in. And we're going to start by taking a look at a live example. This is macaddict.com. They're using the Turbo theme. They've got a large inventory. And with large inventories, especially with the adoption of mobile online shopping, narrowing down a wide product selection to just the products that that shopper wants to see is the goal. While this might not be news for you, I do suggest aiding with this whittling down process using three important online store concepts. And those concepts are navigation, search, and filtering. This should seem like low-hanging fruit. This might be fairly obvious, but let's take a look at what this shop is doing and ways that we can punch up these three concepts to really provide an e-commerce experience more similar to some of the giants out there, all capable using the built-in features of your theme. So while it looks like this shop does have some specific customizations, the three components we're talking about, the navigation, the search, the filtering, it looks like they've been accomplished using the built-in features. So first, let's look at this menu. You see up here, shop by device, and boom. We've got a full width takeover of the screen. It's got multiple columns with images and unique menus in each of these columns. then they have tripled down on this approach by having equally robust drop downs underneath these other links here. Now, these don't all represent unique product offerings. These are multiple ways of reaching the same product, depending on whether this shopper is looking to shop by, in this case, device, category, or by brand. But by having a robust navigation system, you give that option of having multiple routes to finding potentially the same products, but the products of interest. And so I'll show you here behind the scenes. This is our own Portland demo that we use to show off the Turbo theme, and it also has a mega menu configured here, images, multiple menus all spread out through these full width columns. And these are all configured right here in these settings. So we've leveraged Shopify's content blocks to add these unique columns. Each column has its own set of settings, text settings, image settings, menu settings, upwards of 5 menus. So you can pare this down as much as you'd like, or you can make it as robust as you like to really create that navigation of your dreams and help your shoppers get to the product of interest. So it's not just about having a menu feature or a main menu navigation feature. It's about souping it up. And we've souped it up here. It's the mega menu component by having multiple, highly flexible, configurable columns. Similarly, let's take a look at search. Search is such a common, ubiquitous feature that you would see on any online store. We all know exactly how search works, but you want to punch up your search by adding the predictive component. So as I start to type here, I'm already getting some results showing up, potentially leading directly to the product that shopper was looking for. So instead of directing to an entirely different search results page or having to guess about which search terminology to use, this predictive component really enhances the search feature to get to the products of interest. And I can show you right here in the Turbo example. In the theme settings, we've got the ability of enabling or disabling that predictive search, determining the number of items that show up here as well. It's not just about having the predictive search available, it's about having it prominent. So right down here, you see we also have the option of having a search-specific section. So by having search available in multiple places on the storefront, especially for those mobile users, you're giving them the opportunity to narrow down their area of interest right away. So that's 2. I'm already giving away the 3rd point here are my 3 tips for large inventories. We've got that mega menu navigation. We've got that prominent display of a predictive search feature. And finally, we need to allow shoppers to narrow down their selection with filtering. So just like we do here on this Mac Addict site, we head to a collection page and we're faced with a number of products. Well, right here along the left is what we would expect to see in any e-commerce experience, the ability to filter through these products using tags. So tags are added to the products as attributes on the Shopify platform. And then these links here give you the ability to whittle away anything not related to a particular tag. But don't stop there. You want to have this feature punched up as well. You want to give the ability of filtering by multiple tags at once. And that's what we've done with our multi-tag filter feature here. Right in the collection page settings, added as a content block to the sidebar, we've got the ability to filter through by various tags. And so then this way you can start to select by price range. It's already narrowing down some products. But let's narrow it down a little bit more, and we get just to the specific leggings that are within the $50 to $75 range, all set up using tags natively on the Shopify platform and this built-in multi-tag filter feature on the collection page sidebar. So those are my top tips for larger inventories. We're talking about navigation, search, and filtering, but then enhancing those features by making mega menus, by making predictive search components, and by having multi-tag filtering. So let's take a look at shops with a focused inventory or a smaller inventory. In these cases, there's less of a focus on finding the right product and a greater focus on getting the star product to the checkout. So I have a few favorite tips for grabbing that sale as quickly as possible, and I also have a tip for potentially increasing the average order value that comes along with these tips. So first, let's jump into a real-world example. Here I am on Svalt.com, and as I take a look here, I am not completely sure what they sell. So Svalt has decided to start off their homepage experience with details about what the product is. I'm already getting the idea this is a computer fan product, obviously. Okay, looking good, looking good. So a lot of information happening here on the homepage, but then here we are, presented with the ability to add the item to the cart right on the homepage. This is called a featured product section. And as you see, I've got the full capability of selecting between variants, the ability to change the quantity. I've got all of the information I would ever need about this product, and I can add it directly to the cart. We are now on the cart page, and we have yet to access a collection page or a product page. We managed to leapfrog over both of those extra steps to get right to the spot where this shopper can make that decision to head to the checkout and make that purchase. So that featured product section appearing on the homepage of high importance. Let's take a look at it. This is my example here that I've created for our Lead the Pack discussion. This is a sneaker shop. Here we've got the limited edition Sneaker Husky 2019. Scroll down a little bit more. I see the 2018 here on sale. No. I want the limited editions. That's what I'm all about here. And it's configured quite easily with a number of settings that will apply to any of the featured products, and then the ability to select your featured products right here. So having that prominently displayed on the homepage gives that shopper the opportunity to take in all of the same info, all of the same experience that they would have on a product page, but without having to make those extra clicks, without having to take those extra steps. We see here that we've got a couple of options for actually buying this product. And this brings me to my next tip. And this is a very popular tip since the feature has been rolled out. And this is the dynamic payment buttons, or the Buy It Now button that you see existing right here. This is a feature of the Shopify platform. I believe it is included in most themes. And what it does is it gives you the ability of jumping directly to the checkout. This is leapfrogging over the product page, the collection page, and the cart page to go right to the checkout and get that purchase accomplished. However, as we talk about the Buy It Now button, I do have one thing to mention about it. It is an amazing way of grabbing that purchase as quickly as possible. But you have to understand that it fundamentally stops the shopping experience. There's no longer the ability to add more products to the cart without sort of tracing back through the checkout process to get back to the storefront. As we know, the Shopify checkout process and the rest of the storefront are somewhat separated. And while this button gives you the ability to jump right to the checkout, you're sort of missing out on a great opportunity to potentially add more value to this order. And I'm going to show you how that's done right now using the Add to Cart button. I have this set up to direct to the full cart page, just like our friends over at Svalt, that example that we were taking a look at there. And as you see, as I scroll down slightly from the product that I have added to the cart, I am presented with the opportunity to cross-sell. Now, cross-selling apps may offer far more robust options for this type of thing, more opportunities to present products throughout the shopper's experience. But here within our cart page settings, what we've done is added the ability to include a featured collection of your choice. And I have created a specially curated featured collection just for the cart page cross-selling, where I've got some extra laces with aglets, of course. And here we've got sneaker protector as well. Let's take a look quickly at another fun feature. This quick view gives me the ability of taking a look at those product details and adding it to the cart. And without really jumping around to too many places, I'm right back here to that cart page, still presented with my cross-sell opportunities, but more importantly, the ability to jump over to the checkout. Sorry to jump around here, but back to the homepage just to review my favorite tips for the focused inventory, using a featured product section on the homepage to put your star products front and center. Consider that Buy Now dynamic payment button feature to launch directly to the checkout, or consider this cross-sell opportunity by having the Add to Cart button direct to the cart page, and have that cart page include a featured collection block, a very low-tech way of having a cross-sell capability on your cart page. Not too bad. So how about we take a step back and we offer up some tips that will apply to everyone, really. One of them we just took a look at here, and that was while we were on the cart page. We had that quick shop, quick view capability. Now this exists on thumbnails wherever they appear on your storefront. This could be on a collection page, the related items on a product page, or as we see here in this featured collection portion of the cart page. And what it does, it opens up a tiny product page for you to add that to the cart. But then doubling that up with what we see up here in the header, we've got this mini cart. Right here, we can change the quantity of the item in our cart and get right to our checkout. So having the quick view option and the mini cart option enabled really creates this expedited checkout flow. It gets the shopper to the checkout with product in hand in as few clicks as possible. Now, while we have the ability to direct right there with that dynamic payment button, this is still presented in a way where you're on the storefront and you're still presented with opportunities to add more products to the cart, to research more products, to read about the company without getting shuttled directly to the checkout for your payment information. So quick shop plus mini cart equals expedited checkout flow. This next one is a bit of a freebie, and I'd like to thank our friends at PayPal for doing the research on this one. As we take a look at our checkout button here, just to the left of it, we've got this lock icon. Now, this may seem fairly low tech, but the research is out and the results are in. This lock icon, which you can enable and disable right here in the theme's cart settings, has been proven to increase conversions across any device, whether you're on desktop, whether you're on a mobile device. This lock icon somehow adds confidence to this purchasing experience, adds confidence to your product and to your storefront, and the stats are there. It is leading to higher conversions. So don't skip on enabling the lock icon on your checkout button. If your theme doesn't have one, of course, go get the Turbo theme. Otherwise, get in touch with your favorite small task expert, as I'm sure they would gladly add a lock icon to your checkout button. Okie doke, back to my Sneaky Huskies homepage here. Scroll on down to the bottom past all of these beautifully compelling products where I can get to my tips for everyone. My final tip here. I can never discount this last point, and it doesn't matter whether you're working with an agency, whether you're doing customizations with a small task expert or through apps, whether you're using the theme itself, the success of your brand may very well come down to the quality of your photography. This goes for product images, lifestyle images, your big hero banners, blog post images, collection banners. Having a cohesive, high-quality approach to imagery, while it's not a built-in feature of the theme, it really is the difference between shops that appear amateurish and untrustworthy compared to a high-performing e-commerce storefront. I hate to say it this way, but the theme is almost yours to lose. So to keep a focus on the images and implement them into my theme, into our theme, that way we can enjoy our success together. So those tips again for everybody: the expedited checkout flow with the combination of quick shop and mini cart, having that checkout lock icon, that checkout button lock icon enabled and present on your storefront to add to that consumer confidence. And finally, don't forget and don't skimp on the high quality photography that you're implementing into your Shopify theme. All right. So thanks a ton for that rapid blast of theme tips. Don't forget, outofthesandbox.com, the Turbo theme, if you'd like to leverage all of these tips directly from the theme itself, all on your own. At this time, I would be more than happy to take any questions. I'm not sure if any were asked during the presentation. I may have been slightly distracted and didn't see it pop up here, but if there any came in through the Q&A prompt, I am happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
There's nothing in the Q&A, but there is one in the chat bubble. It says, once you purchase the Turbo theme, where does it live after that?
Sure thing. So the Turbo theme is, after purchase, you will receive an email that includes the download link. This download link will include the zip file. That zip file can then be uploaded to your Shopify storefront, and you will then have full access to the theme. We then suggest to also implement and install the Out of the Sandbox Theme Updater app. And it's with this app that you can register your purchase, and that will allow you to continue to use the Theme Updater app to update your theme to the most recent version.
I am going to throw in there as a tip, because it's a commonly asked question for us. When you update your theme, any custom work you have done to your store does not auto update. So that is something that you will have to have a small task developer update for you when you update your theme.
Absolutely, and I'll add to that, we do have a feature within the app to attempt to copy over as many code changes as possible. It will detect the code changes, and then if it sees that it would be quote unquote responsible to carry that change over, it will go ahead and do that, and then provide you with a prompt saying not which changes, but which templates didn't have those changes carried over. By all means, the best next step at that point would be to get in touch with your favorite small task expert to have them liaise with you directly about your past customizations, see if they are still appropriate for the updated theme. Perhaps the update introduced a feature that would then deprecate your previous customization, but that is something you definitely want a consultation on with one of our favorite small task experts like TaskHusky.
Thank you. So I have another question here. Will any of these features be available on responsive theme from Out of the Sandbox?
We are constantly updating the rest of the catalog as well. There are indeed some of these premium features that will remain in the Turbo theme, but we are also going to be introducing a new theme to the marketplace shortly that will have the bulk of these features as well, including a robust method of configuring the appearance of the shop. While we have specific things that you can configure with the Turbo theme to make it look any number of ways, we are tripling down on that flexibility component for our next release coming up within the next month. And we are so excited to get that out into the public as well. But as far as the responsive theme, we are constantly updating it. The mega menu feature is indeed available in the responsive theme. There are some limitations to what we can introduce to the themes that are available on the Shopify theme store. So we've gone with a bit of a different method of implementing the mega menu on the responsive theme, but it is still very robust for making an attractive navigation for the top of your site. The lock icon, I am not sure if that's in there yet. It's still fairly new to Turbo. And I'll attest that Turbo would indeed be the first to get any of our next best ideas. Then for how well they are received and how well they are going by our reviewing friends at Shopify on the Shopify theme store, they would get introduced to the responsive theme as well. So we're always looking at our back catalog to keep those updated, keep those looking contemporary and totally capable with the features that are built in.
Perfect. I do have a couple of questions from the Q&A as well. The first one is, how do we keep images gorgeous and abide by Google page speed requirements?
That is indeed that's a fantastic question. It's one that we receive on support quite a bit, and you are literally describing two sides of a scale. And this scale would be the performance versus the quality of the imagery. And I can't necessarily make that decision for you. We do have sort of the technology of the save for web from on Photoshop. Just whatever you can do to keep your images looking as good as possible, the various compression methods would help with that page load time and keep things looking good, but you are totally on point here that is a constant balance that we look to maintain. So I don't have a ton of extra insight on how to do that other than the focus on high quality photography really being a make or break component of these storefronts.
Perfect, thank you. And then another question that came in, are the updates free of charge or do we need to pay again?
The updates for the first year are indeed free of charge, and historically they have been free of charge in perpetuity. But I do need to mention that one caveat, as we don't necessarily know how the theme updates will be going after year one of the purchase at this point. But right now I can say that definitely the first year of updates are totally free of charge using the Theme Updater app. And for the rest of our back catalog, those updates are free in perpetuity as well. I've got a couple of questions about the Theme Updater app. It is available on the Shopify App Store. No problem. Anything else from that Q&A to address before we carry on with our lovely Friday afternoons?
I don't see anything else coming in through the Q&A. And I don't see anything else coming in through the chat bubble. So if we are all set and there are no more questions, I just want to thank you very much for your presentation, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Just a reminder that all of the presentations from the week will be available for replay on our website, so you can head there and watch any of them again, share them with your friends that weren't able to make it, anything you want to do. And as far as the photography one goes, we did have a professional photographer speak earlier this week. So that might be something that the person who asked that question might want to check out, just as far as photography goes as well. So other than that, if there are no more questions, how long will the replays be available? I don't foresee our team taking those replays down anytime in the next month. I can confirm that, but they should be up there for quite a while still. All right.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for having me on and for putting on a fantastic week of webinars.
Yes, no problem. Thank you for speaking, and thank you all for joining. Have a great weekend, everybody.